The forest moon of Thalassia was a world of ancient trees, so massive their canopies created vertical ecosystems like living skyscrapers. The Thalassian people, elegant beings with bioluminescent skin patterns, had built their civilization in harmony with nature, their crystal cities grown rather than constructed, their culture valuing tradition and bloodline above all else. Princess Lyanna, youngest daughter of the Sovereign Council, grew up in the highest branches where royalty dwelled, expected to fulfill her role through carefully arranged marriage. But Lyanna questioned traditions that treated people as political pieces, spoke against marriages without consent, advocated for individuals to choose their own paths. When she refused her arranged marriage publicly during the ceremony itself, her father, Sovereign Valorous, invoked the ancient rite of banishment. Stripped of title and family, cast into the deep forest where few survived. Thalassian royalty were raised in luxury, taught governance but not wilderness survival. The banishment was meant to be death sentence disguised as mercy. Most assumed she'd perish within weeks. Instead, Lyanna survived. 6 months into exile, she'd established a hidden refuge in the forest's middle canopy, a region too low for Thalassian settlements, too high for most predators. She'd learned to hunt, identify edible plants, read weather patterns. She'd lost royal softness, gained scars and survival skills, discovered fierce independence she never knew she possessed. She was also profoundly lonely, talking to herself to remember language, singing old songs to keep memories alive, wondering if she'd spend her life in green silence. Marcus Chen was a human xenobotanist studying Thalassia's unique ecosystem. Humans were new to this region, their presence limited to a research station at the forest's edge. Marcus specialized in studying how Thalassian flora achieved remarkable size and longevity, his work requiring deep forest ventures where few researchers dared go. During an expedition deeper than he'd ventured before, Marcus discovered something impossible: signs of habitation. A shelter woven from living branches, water collection systems. Someone was living here, far from any settlement. Scientific curiosity overcame caution. He investigated carefully, trying to understand who could survive in this isolated region. That's when he heard movement and turned to find Lyanna, bioluminescent patterns flaring with alarm, a makeshift spear pointed at him. Marcus raised his hand slowly, speaking in Thalassian. "I mean no harm, I'm just a researcher. I didn't know anyone lived here." Lyanna studied him with obvious suspicion. She'd never seen a human up close. "You are trespassing. This is my territory, leave." Marcus should have left, but something stopped him. The way she held the spear with defensive desperation, visible isolation in her demeanor, evidence of long-term survival against odds. "Are you alone out here?" The question broke something in Lyanna's composure. Her spear lowered slightly. "That is not your concern, human. Leave before I make you leave." Marcus left, but couldn't stop thinking about the encounter. A Thalassian surviving alone in deep forest, far from settlements, defensive but clearly struggling. He researched Thalassian customs, learning about banishment tradition, ancient, rarely used, reserved for severe social violations. The realization hit: she was an exile. Someone cast out, left to die, surviving through determination. Instead of reporting this, Marcus made a choice, violating multiple protocols. He returned 3 days later bringing supplies: water purification tablets, ration bars, a medical kit. He approached openly, calling out, leaving supplies at her clearing's border. Lyanna emerged, spear ready but curious. "Why do you return? I told you to leave." "I couldn't stop thinking that you're alone and I have supplies to share. No obligations, just human compassion." He gestured to the supplies. "Take them or don't, your choice." Lyanna's bioluminescent patterns shifted to colors indicating confusion and cautious interest. "Why would you help me? You do not know me. You're someone surviving against hard odds. That's enough." Marcus sat at the clearing's edge, deliberately non-threatening. "I'm Marcus, "Xenobotanist, I study trees. What's your name?" The introduction was so simple, so normal that it caught Lyanna off guard. "Lyanna, I was. Princess of the Crystal Spires, before my father cast me out." Over hours of careful conversation, Marcus learned her story. The refused marriage, the banishment, 6 months of survival. Marcus shared his own, growing up feeling like he never fit Earth's expectations, finding solace in plants that didn't judge. Marcus's visits became routine. Every few days he returned with supplies, conversation, connection Lyanna desperately needed. They talked about culture, plants, survival skills, philosophy about tradition versus individual choice. Lyanna taught Marcus about the forest's hidden wonders, guiding him to rare species. Marcus helped Lyanna improve her shelter, applying engineering to her intuitive designs. Their relationship evolved from wary allies to genuine friends, both finding someone who understood what it meant to choose isolation over suffocation. But the situation couldn't remain secret. Marcus's absences raised questions. Thalassian authorities noticed human presence in regions that should be empty. Hunting parties were dispatched. Crisis arrived when they spotted a Thalassian hunting party. Lyanna recognized the patterns: royal guards. "They know I'm alive. My father cannot tolerate that." Marcus made a split-second decision. "Come with me. To the human research station. You'll have sanctuary. Thalassian authorities can't touch you in human territory without diplomatic incident." Lyanna hesitated. "If I go with you, I can never return to my people. This will be permanent exile." "Is that what you want? To return to people who threw you away?" Lyanna looked at her shelter, at the human who'd shown her kindness. "No, I choose something different. I choose to live." They traveled through the forest, reaching the research station as hunting parties closed in. The station director listened to the full story and made a decision, putting human principles over diplomatic convenience. "She stays. We don't return refugees to situations where their safety is threatened." Sovereign Valorous demanded Lyanna's return. The director's response was firm. By Thalassian law, she's stripped of citizenship. By human law, that makes her a stateless refugee. She's requested asylum and we're granting it. During the diplomatic standoff, Lyanna adjusted to station life. She began working with Marcus, her intimate knowledge of Thalassian ecology revolutionizing his research. She learned about human culture, about societies valuing individual choice over hereditary obligation. The breakthrough came during a natural disaster threatening both station and Thalassian settlements. Lyanna proposed coordinated response using both human technology and Thalassian forest knowledge. She became bridge between species, helping them work together in ways formal diplomacy never achieved. Her role in saving both communities forced Valorous to confront reality. His daughter wasn't weak, and her defiance was actually strength. He offered reconciliation. She could return, banishment revoked, no forced marriage. Lyanna considered this during a walk through the station's greenhouse with Marcus. "If you go back, you'll be princess again. You could change things from inside the system." Lyanna touched a Thalassian flower, its familiar fragrance bringing memories. "Or I could stay and change things by proving bridges can be built between worlds. By showing that worth isn't about bloodlines, but about what we choose to do with our lives." She looked at Marcus. "I've been royalty, I've been exile. Now I'd like to try being simply myself." She declined her father's offer, choosing to remain as permanent cultural liaison. A year later, Lyanna had become instrumental in establishing cooperation between human and Thalassian scientific communities. Her relationship with her father was healing slowly through honest correspondence. Marcus and Lyanna were in the forest again, this time as official research team. "Do you ever regret it?" Marcus asked. "All of it." Lyanna's bioluminescent patterns shifted to colors meaning contentment. "I regret the pain, but not the choice. If I hadn't been banished, I never would have discovered what I'm capable of. And I never would have met a wandering human who reminded me that compassion exists even in wilderness. She smiled. Sometimes the worst thing becomes the best thing, not because suffering was good, but because of what we choose to do afterward. They continued their work, two beings from different worlds who found each other in the forest, and proved that connection